We're officially recording now, so be nice to each other, no matter what you would say at 30 seconds. That's it. I'm gonna hand this around and then I'd like to come back to, Sarah brought this to us. And this is the packet people receive when they come to town, correct? Pretty neat. I didn't realize it had that much in it. So I'm gonna give it to you as we go through the evening, just give it back to me because I'm gonna put it in my office.
Is the clerk or that?
Well,
This is from the first one.
Your office have copies made?
we can get some, but it's basically information that you can get up if you gather
I
it.
mean, if I'm new in town, this is, I get this.
This is
packet.
what the town's giving you.
Okay, that's all right.
I have to make up a brochure for the chamber. See if I can wrangle my way in. There or some kind of, well, this week I'm not making anything. I went to print the other day because they got a new copier in there and every time Windows updates, it drops the IPN address. So Jimbo, Mr. Computer, is playing right now, trying to fix this up. I got the test sheet to run, but anyways, moving on. Okay, we've established a quorum. We have no flags, so we're going to pretend that we have one. I don't know. We'll have to work on get one.
Yeah, I spoke with them about that.
Well, we can just pretend there's one in the hallway there. There's Marie. Come on in, Marie. We're just in the hallway. There's a flag, so we're off there, kind of in the hallway. And pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Any of the added agenda items, guys? As you know, we keep other items open so that if we think of something halfway through the meeting, we can still talk about it. So, okay. Public participation. I don't see any public participation. Approval of meetings. Of minutes. I was reading as I saw, that's scaring me. Anybody want to talk about the minutes? Are they pretty up to date? Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Just to keep you all updated today, when I did announce we were having a meeting tonight, I did request that any resident wanting to be part of the Economic Development Commission to reach out. So if you know of anybody, we're looking still. We've got 4 members. We can have 1 more regular member and 2 alternates. And this is not just our commission's problem, the WPCA has run into it. So if you know anybody that wants to talk about sewage and all that fun stuff, it's actually a pretty good commission. That's another one that you might suggest to somebody. That actually has a lot to do with what goes on after a project starts to come to town, part of the component. So it is an interesting commission. All right. Moving on, general discussion, proposed blight ordinance. Just in case you weren't paying attention to Board of Selectmen's meetings, they've been discussing a blight ordinance. I've read it. I think it's well written, but there's certain things that I personally, and I'm not going as a commission, I wanted to make you aware of it because I had a couple of businesses ask me about it. As far as what they're trying to do, I'm all for properties being good and kept up, even though I'm a believer in the eye of the beholder. There's certain things like, that shouldn't be. But things came up like grass, I use the lawn example. The new thing is to grow lawn longer for the bees. Which if you let your lawn grow like they say you're supposed to help the bees grow, it would be in violation of a lot of blight ordinances all across the state. So it's not just us. The other thing that concerned me, and we ran into it once with a business prior, so this is why I have it on our thing. We did have a previous administration, not the one that exists now, but went to a business when they did something wrong. And they were quite blatant about it. They put up banners and all kinds of things. But my understanding that it came from one individual not liking it more than a zoning violation. And that's what concerns me about the blight ordinance. It gets into this me against you type of thing, and I'm always against negatives. I mean, sometimes in life you have to have them. But that's my personal thing. As far as the writing of it, I didn't find anything too wrong. It's just how you enforce it. The last blight ordinance we have, which is still on the books, doesn't have much teeth. That has been left up to the building inspector and or the first selectmen's or something where they could assign anybody to it. And that kind of thing scares me as well. If we're gonna have that, we better have a professional. And then again, now we're talking hiring somebody. I mean, so there's a lot of things that I personally am not in favor of. If we were gonna have one, it is well written. I won't say that the things in there are all bad or that, you know, that we didn't try to set a proper process. Has anybody else on this commission seen that or read about it? I know it's back at, I think it's back at you or at the attorney.
Well, it was my department that wrote it,
Okay,
taking from other towns. And, presented it to the Board of Selectmen for their input, and then got, legal review, or legal review first, and then Board of Selectmen. They have 2 meetings where they did some give and take, right? Yeah, that's true. Which those changes have been incorporated. Since that meeting, we have now a full-time building official who used to, administer white ordinance in town.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not our town,
No,
our guy refused,
yeah.
so
no, this
we're
is
talking
all-
about the new building official.
the old children.
Henry.
Yeah, we're.
Henry.
Okay.
So he's taken a look at the Bible as well, and, you know, he's a very open and fair. I am looking to talk to the board of selectmen for the changes that for suggested last time, and then hear from Ken from his perspective.
Okay, well, and again, it's something to keep your eyes open. I don't know how businesses, I haven't had anybody call and complain, but I think it's kind of been under a lot of people's radar. I don't think they.
Well, from my department's perspective, people, we get a fair amount of complaints that we cannot, respond to really well from zoning.
What kind of complaint?
We get complaints about small crafts. We get complaints about buildings that are in tough shape. You know,
Define solid garage.
well, if they can't see when they're pulling out of a parking lot,
Okay, that's
and that kind of complaint.
That's
Some
more-
neighbors, and neighbors have complained about their children, and there's, you know, vermin in like, because of the conditions of the tall grass and time. And we've had some property owners complain they can't sell their house because of the condition of yards and whatnot next door. So like, there's complaints come in, and I have to kind of sort them by what can we deal with zoning regulations, what can we not deal with because we don't have effective blight ordinance, and that's the base,
Yeah.
the root of where it came from.
And I said, like I said, it's well written. What concerns me is what occurred with Mr. Thrall 20 years ago at this point. And I had the opportunity to sit with Ed for a while. I don't know him like I know you guys, but I knew him. And his reasoning was that somebody came on his property. He was all over the dance hall, which you can see from the street. So, I mean, there's some holes in the area. But he didn't like the fact that the town was able to come onto his property. And as I read the blight ordinance right now, while there, and you could have changed it, while it says that there should be a complaint, it doesn't require one. Which to me says that if we get, right now, Ken could be a great guy, but if we get an official that's different, that's my concern. It's more about the future than what's laying there now. And I did see Ken came on board. That's great. I was
Yeah.
reading that the other day. So anyways, that's why I'm putting it out there because we should know about it. We as the EPC should be aware of it. It's really not onto businesses, but you've got to get concerned because we could have people that aren't happy that business is moving into a neighborhood that had been zoned for business and nobody did anything for 50 years. And now somebody's doing something. And that's when a lot of this stuff starts to come up and they utilize anything that is at their disposal. And a blight ordinance could be part of it. I'm not saying it is, I've seen enough of this. South Windsor had a warehouse coming in. And they were in the properly zoned area, a neighborhood had been built years before. And abutted it, so the bend of the neighborhood came up to the commercial. And the warehouse came in and they wanted to build 3 stories. This was a few years ago. And they got turned down. So they went back and they didn't get turned down. The neighborhood created a complaint. So these guys went back and scaled back the project, put up trees. In the end, they didn't build. And this isn't even what's going on now. They got other problems. But I'm talking years ago, this group that was going to build was not built. And you don't want to have that occurring. So that, again, I've expressed my concern. I don't think it's bad written. It's not badly written. It's not a question of the.
That's right. That's just a work product. And, I'll offer a positive spin. I don't really see the ties to zoning, business zone versus residential and not wanting business and residential. And like, you have really good businesses that have triggered the blight. On the positive spin, the plan of conservation and development wants us to have a pleasurable place to live, work, and play. And so if you're gonna drive by a East Windsor, what do you want to see out your windshield? Is really, I think, where the blight pays off. So
Again, I'm
it's a
not,
vision of goodness out there.
I'll give you another example of why blight is important. When Walmart built those 2 houses across from the back entrance, were all blighted, in my opinion.
right,
But with agreement with Walmart and stuff, they cleaned that all up. I don't know the dynamics of it, but those houses now look better than they've ever looked at Walmart been in there. And I'm sure Walmart had something to do with that. You blew through. But if you go down Walls Road, that house, that little white house, just on the other side of the railroad track that had a camper in there and then mattresses and garbage and all kinds of rodents and everything else. If you go by there today, the guy that's renovating it, 1,000,000 times better. I mean, all the garbage been taken out, the camper's been all removed. He cleared all the garbage out of the backyards and now he's aluminum siding the house after he's done some modeling to it. That's what, I don't want to see the mattresses and all that stuff for months and months and months in a neighborhood.
I can't argue with you on that, but my point is, it's, again, blight, again, can be in the eye of the beholder, and I'll give you an example. Main Street, Broadbrook. There's many people that I know drive up Main Street and say, why isn't something being done about particular properties on Main Street, right here? And again, it's the eye of the beholder thing. And my concern again is not the actual ordinance, but who's enforcing, who hires them. I've seen that power, not this administration, not this zoning group. I want to be very clear, but I've actually seen it be misused. And it concerns me when we create laws that, for instance, if Gil complained about me as his neighbor, my recourse is very limited. If you read the ordinance as it is, I have to wait till certain things happen for me to have recourse, as I understand it. That's not fair to me, who, if Gil's really doing it because he's mad at me. Okay, I'm just saying that I want to be careful when we do stuff like this, and again, it's not back to what's in it, but how it's enforced, how it's laid out, and maybe there's no good solution. I just wanted to make sure that somebody said something about it. So we'll move on because we don't need to beat it up. And again, I don't think it's a bad thing to do. I know you gotta do something. And your example's a good one. I'm gonna bypass the business event in the fall unless somebody's got a great idea to do something. I've been thinking about, I've added that in because we should be trying to. Fall and spring are seasonal times to do stuff. We can certainly put together something may come up. What'd you have, Ruth? Nothing, okay. I thought she had another, she always had good stuff for the pile there, so. But we should do something. And along the lines of what we did with that meet and greet, it was well received. We can do it here again at the town hall. I don't think that's a problem.
Get a really good turnout for that.
Right.
A lot of people networking. It was really well done, I thought.
Okay, so maybe we could think about that. November is election time, right? November 4th or 5th or something like that, beginning of the month.
I think it's eighth or 9th, right, this year?
Basically,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever that Tuesday is.
Yeah, and that's where the problem comes with inviting political figures, because someone could misconstrue our reason for having them.
Did you have someone in your? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, November.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I didn't really get into doing anything, because I'm sure Senator Amar, if he's elected again, would love to come and visit, because last time. he was appointed, you know, whoever else you can think of, so it's just something that I kind of put it on there, but we don't have to do it. I mean, it's up to you guys. If you want to move forward and try to put something together for. We're already into September.
Right. No, it's September next week.
Yeah. So, okay, let's leave that on the back burner for now. Again, these are things we just need to make sure we discuss. Transit authority discussion, that seems to be becoming more and more of a hot topic. Transportation. Somebody on there?
Couple more people in the meeting.
I don't. Yeah. Well, we did
Oh,
probably,
we have anything on trans?
no, I can do public participation again if you want, but I. Folks that are joining us, feel free to join in or ask questions. We do like that. You can't vote, but we like participation. So did you guys have anything new? I thought Margaret coming was great, by the way, you know. And we'll get, maybe we should come up with a game plan that we can start working on this year. More on this, who we should contact, you know, just start really digging into it, because I think we're gonna need to cross down transit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's becoming more and more of a need than a, you know, let's think about it type of thing. I really am seeing it out there, so. We'll leave it there for now. 140.
Nigger.
Oh. Hi, Stephanie, did you want to talk? Don't see anybody. Well, we're trying to help. The zoning on 140, I know y'all were working on different stuff. We discussed it at our last meeting.
Yeah, we passed a change
Okay,
to the zoning regs that for tenants on 140, the B3 zone, they no longer have to get like a tenant change, say in Bastille Plaza,
right.
no longer require a special use permit.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so it says in the B3 zone, applicants for individual changes and permitted uses within multi-tenant commercial buildings, which do not expand the floor area of the building or unit or require additional parking, shall be subject to a zoning permit and not require a special use permit.
Excellent. Step in the right direction. Excellent.
Yeah.
That one in immediately type of thing?
September 1st. I believe is-
Oh, okay.
Fuck 12.
Hello?
It would be gas turbine Dave.
Nope, wasn't me.
You're the only one with your mic open.
Yep. I don't know. Nothing made any sounds.
Okay, that's fine. So what that means is when we started looking at this, and it turns out zoning was already looking at it, was that when someone moves into Bassdale Plaza, what used to happen is the town would charge $300 per unit. And once we discovered that, we started working on it. It turns out they were already working on it. They're working on a bunch of other things. But they've got this through, which is great. So when someone comes to town, wants to move into either Golden Gavel, Bassdale Plaza, wherever on that route up there, Old Landers Plaza, they're not gonna get charged this $300 that we've been charged. And everyone was in agreement. It's kind of it wasn't a value to anyone. So this is great that this has happened, and it's something good when, be sure to let the landlords. You know,
So can I just tell you a couple of other changes that went in that
Sure.
are relevant? So we have a section on alternative energy. This really has to do with electric vehicle charging and solar canopies for existing locations that are already built out and they want to add retrofit to have EV charging. For EV chargers 8 feet or less, we're exempting them as structures from the zoning regs, so they can be placed in a
Yeah.
convenient location. There was change in legislation last year and effective January for the state, but now effective in our regulations is for new developments, whether it's multifamily,
Is that
residential,
nigga bald?
commercial, commercial. Don't know where that's coming from. Developments with more than 30 parking spaces, then 10% of the parking spaces will require EV charging.
it's going to
Sign of the-
require that.
It's state law, yeah.
D plus parking.
If you're creating a new development with more than 30 parking
That's new.
spaces, 10%, so get 30 parking spaces with free chargers.
And the grandfather. No problem.
If you're,
Somebody coughing in the phone.
yeah, but none of them makes.
The mics are on.
So let me get this straight. I come in and I want to do a project. I'm required by state law as well as local law to, just try to ignore it.
That is definitely not me.
See if that.
Okay, so no matter who, the state law, that was gonna happen no matter what.
Yeah.
So we had to adjust our town law to match that.
Mhm.
So the town law really doesn't have a choice. We're matching the state,
For that particular piece, yep, for the
Right.
30 spaces or more for new development.
so it's the
So
state.
how are we gonna solve racism?
Oh, somebody that does.
Okay. They like unmute themselves, say something, then mute themselves again.
Yeah, no, you're not.
So that's not imposed by the town really, even though we've
Yeah.
adjusted our regulations to make
To
it
meet the
work.
state statute, yes,
Right, but it's the state that's imposing the 3%
yes.
or whatever. it
The
was.
10%, the 10% on, yeah. Free chargers. So, for 30. So, the next one is outdoor dining.
Ugh.
Discussions about, food trucks. Not currently, well, they were not allowed by our regulations, and so now with outdoor dining, we have, allowed food trucks as an accessory use to any lawfully establishment. Previously, dining
Is there a way for you to control it?
I tried, I muted all, I tried. People are smart.
What's scaring me is that like.
You wanna say yes or no?
Say yes.
You want to say yes, you keep saying no.
No, what it says is allow participants to unmute. themselves.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, somebody.
Yeah, so well,
Yeah.
that's what hacking's all about.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
of course it happened at my meeting, right?
so it happened at others.
Oh, good.
So the outdoor dining previously only went with restaurants.
Right.
Now we're allowing it, like Sunoco had come in and they were looking to set up something with a food truck and a picnic table. We couldn't allow it, previous regulations. And now,
Now,
It
with
might-
There's a guy standing outside the window.
that regulation, is there a permit fee though?
Hey, there's a guy standing outside the window. I'm not gonna lie.
Like the restaurant in town paying taxes. And I'm just being blunt about it. And Sunoco hired some guy from Bloomfield to come in with his food truck. I mean, they used to have things like,
There's somebody outside the window.
where somebody would come to town, they'd have to buy a permit to go door to door, forgetting what it is. It's like a vendor's license, but
The health department
yeah.
required the food trucks to have a license to come into town. And there was confusion on who could come and who couldn't come and why they weren't, but they resolved that in the health department. They now are allowing them that one to hit the areas.
okay. All right.
and then we have, we want to see a site plan and a layout for traffic and pedestrian flow.
That's for the food truck,
For the, yeah,
so they can't just bring the food truck in, they got their.
they have to get a permit.
They have to get.
Yes. and it
Oh,
will
and
be
there's a
reviewed by-
permit, that's what I'm.
Yes, it was a permit and it'd be reviewed by all the parties, the health department, water pollution control, fire marshal. Police, and the building.
Oh, good, police is for the safety, I got that.
Yeah.
Um,
So those are all
that's
EDC
actually
related.
good. That's actually good, because then when somebody wants to have an event at their property, i.e. their parking lot, they can bring in a
Yeah.
food truck and it won't be, they gotta do the permit and
Yeah,
everything
but-
involved.
We don't have to say no.
Right, you know how I hate that, no.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Boy, is there a way that we could somehow, those are all positive things, even the 30, I'm never happy when you're forced to do something. But the thing with the parking lot, and the 10%, that stays in post, so we're adjusting our stuff as a positive thing to make it easier.
Mhm.
So I'm really, is there a way to maybe put that in some kind of paragraph that we could put out there? Some of these changes. The alternate-
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. Just somewhere, and boy, I'd like to copy this. Promotion. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Looks like the 140 is moving along. That's so great. I'm glad to hear all of it. Okay, parking walkability of Broadbrook Business Center. I did do some research. It looks like the Opera House has actually published online where you can park. It's pretty wild. And then, now we've got, further up, we've got getting real concerned about the walkability and not against people walking on the side of the street. So it's something we need to just keep on our radar, and maybe somebody can come up with a solution. Because I'm getting concerned.
It would make my pussy wetter than.
And probably not. Gonna get
I fed it like a pet. I fucked all you stuff so much I need to go to the vet. Hot box more like a soldier pussy. Open this pussy up like a fortune cookie.
Well, business passport
Watch my
program.
tongue go ape. Eating more blows than a birthday cake when I'm lyric. No, I don't fear it.
Go
I
ahead.
included in your packet, just the information that's available online right now. If you look at
Yeah.
the town website, so it says how the program operates. Timeframe. So. Runs through November 26th. There's a list of participating businesses. You can visit each business 3 times to pull your passport stickers. So if you haven't seen them already.
Where do you get them?
At the businesses listed.
Oh, okay.
and selectmen.
I just wondered.
This page.
Yeah. And so, Jason gave me a little bit of an update with 20 participants. For the inaugural program, comprised of retail and restaurant establishments, but no franchises. One to be truly local. They each pay, an entry fee of $150.
So each of those businesses paid $150.
And then they provided their logos and business names and addresses and hours. The summer concert was the kickoff, where they had the vendor showcase, and to date, there's more than 2,000 passports out there. They actually have to order more.
So that's impressive.
And then regarding the entry fee, he just wanted to give an example that he just paid $180 at Don's Auto Care. So he alone covered his entry, his entry cost.
Yeah, no, that's $150. That's a
So,
reasonable thing to be involved in.
The goal is to encourage people to buy local for a longer period of time with the incentivization, right? And if the program is considered a success, but we'll do it again.
Yeah.
And there's enthusiasm. Apparently, there's a hashtag East Windsor CT passport.
That's the passport.
Yes, so you go and put when you go to that business, like if you went to Harkins and you purchase something, they put the sticker here. And then you fill it up with, and you can turn it in to win prizes when you have a certain number.
You have to have 33 minimum.
Minimum, and that's to win the third prize.
That's to be the third prize.
You have to go and have places.
I don't think it's bad at all. Windsor's been doing something similar for
Yeah,
a long
is there a
time.
minimum you have to spend that each thing?
No,
So you can,
no.
No, I mean, you can go get a cup of coffee at the damn restaurant 3 times.
There we go.
I am glad you told me about that 150 because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I keep them. Actually, I'm gonna get a couple of those for the chamber office. We've had no problem promoting this. We've had our chamber members, but I had a bunch of people contact me asking. how
We
they
do
got
have
it.
extra in the, we either get them as a participating businesses, because they went around and delivered rows to each. And then the first like was on the phone.
What it's done, it's helped people to give a location a second look. Somebody had an issue 8 years ago at a place they went to and never walked back through the door, but now they want the sticker. So they walk back through the door and have completely different
Oh.
opinion of the establishment than they had before.
I'm
So
a
it's-
firm believer.
you
in
know,
those.
Yeah, it's a great program.
The Eat Out East
I don't think
Windsor
I-
programs, same animal,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
this is better and improved, I agree. Because the Eat Out, we were doing on a limited budget, and the fact it's 150 a business, there were some businesses that contacted me and they said, well, how come they picked this business over that? Now I can say, well, if you want to invest next time,
Right.
and the no franchise thing did come into play, that you gotta have rules and criteria, so whether they like those 2 important things, I didn't know, so I do appreciate that. But I think it's a great program. Okay. The other thing I wanted to bring up that I forgot to put on the list, are you still trying to figure out who
They have a name.
is, we didn't publish the Five Village visit due to my incapacitation for about a month. And we will probably not have one till the end of this month. Just because I'm still kind of recovering. I don't think we had anything else in the hopper. Did you guys remember anything? I mean, things are chugging along as far as I'm concerned.
With that packet, was there anything in there for constructive criticism or anything that the
Feedback.
EDC wants to put in? Or, because I know you guys were talking previously about that, I don't know.
I was gonna include that. next month.
Oh, okay, no,
We-
that's fine.
We don't think well, always have to run. so
Oh,
I
okay,
was
no
just-
problem, no, that's all right,
I was gonna take it and pull it apart, see what we
Oh,
made
okay.
this in, and
yeah.
I mean, if we get the 5 Village visit up and running, it should be included in it. I mean,
Yeah, I think between now and November first, we should.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, those passports, did you, do we have a bunch printed? I mean, I don't know how many you printed. Did you print 2,500 of them? Or do you print them as you need them? Or-
They ended up getting another case because they went so fast. So I don't know the total, but. There's 2,000 of them out there now, so.
that's great.
Could we maybe get some at the both libraries?
Yeah, they're not already there. I know that Melissa and Jen went and delivered all of them.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I know Broadbrook doesn't have them, and I'm assuming Warehouse Point might not have, them, but why not? That's a good location, good luck. Where else could we give them in town? I mean, if you got them, to get them and not get rid of them, is a waste too. I mean, and everybody that paid to be in that booklet wants you to hand it to as many people as possible, even if they don't use them, it's advertising. Well, if anybody thinks of anywhere else they might go, certainly give Ruth a call, because I think it's important to get those out. I'm trying to think if there's any, how about the churches doing? No, the school system would have a fit.
In
believe me.
in the churches would be.
You don't think the churches would? Okay. Well, I believe we're God's share of everything, so I got no problem with that. Where
Well,
else?
how about like the youth sports in town, like this soccer club, you can give it to the parents. Well, the youth soccer programs in town,
Right,
just give it to the soccer president, he can give it to the coaches, and the coaches can pass it out to the parents. They're down, when they're playing soccer, they can sneak out to the Good Morning, down at Osborne, and they can go to different restaurants down there.
well, maybe the thing to do is, now, if I came into the town hall and wanted one of those, I could find one here. Be at the selectman's office, so maybe that's what we really need to promote, is that they're available at the selectman's office.
That has been promoted in several locations.
Yeah,
Don't
last-
remember
the
reading
very
it.
bottom.
Did it say it at the very bottom?
Contact us.
Must be returned for more information. Okay, people need to be led to the water. That's the situation here is we need to lead them to the water, so we need to tell them. I can certainly do it when I've got to re-promote this again this week. Because the chamber members involved, so what I'll do is make sure I include that in my proposal. That's not a problem. I'll make it part of the newsletter, which now we're going everywhere with it. So, okay. It's not on there, right? I'm not crazy because I looked
More information.
more information, good. Because I looked at this and I like, okay, where do I get my passport? I gotta get it. I can't get out of the country. Hey, be the next travel agent, you can worry about stuff like that, okay? All right, anything else, guys? Okay,
If you want to do public participation.
yeah, we did public participation earlier. Did anybody want any comments? Dave?
I'm good. I just wanted to tune in and listen to the blight ordinance discussion. That was what I was interested in.
What do you think of the blight ordinance itself?
I didn't get a chance to hear much of it because by the time we let me in, I think I missed all of that. I kind of cruised in about the time you guys started the business event in the fall.
Oh, okay. So
So,
there was quite a discussion about it, and it is an interesting thing. Is that available on the town website at this point?
Well, it's in our minutes too.
In their minutes?
Yeah.
The selectmen are very interested in people's opinions on that, Dave, so. That's the group I would maybe participate at with.
Dave, I
okay,
can copy.
And Ruth's gonna send you a copy.
okay, perfect.
Take a look at it. Ruth's sending everybody a copy now, Dave. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
With that, anything else, gentlemen? I say that because I'm asking them the question, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. I'll second it.
All in favor? Excellent, thank you. Thank you all for attending.
Of course.